Okay. Hi, I'm Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, and we're here in the Crafters Workshop booth at CHA, and I'm going to show you how to make a gorgeous necklace that looks a little something like this. Ooh. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 colors of acrylic paint, and you're just going to squirt it out onto your jelly plate. If you don't have a jelly plate, that's no problem. You could use a clear sheet of plexi or anything like that. Even a page protector in a pinch will work for this. The jelly plate has a little bit of cushion, which is why it's nice, but there are a lot of other ways to do it.
Too much?
You know what? Is there ever too much paint? So then all I do is I take my brayer and I'm just going to roll out the 2 colors of paint, and I don't care if they mix. This is looking very ketchup and mustardy though, isn't it? So I'm going to roll them out until I've covered my whole little jelly plate. And with the excess paint, what I like to do, and you're familiar with this stuff, Christine, I know that you know it, deli paper. So that's a great way to clean off your stencil, is you just take this paper, which I use for collage all the time. It's a translucent paper, very much like tissue paper. And I just clean it up, and then I have this piece of paper for later. And then if you have a lot left, you can just stick it onto the paper towel. It's a good painty mess. It's a start. Now you don't have a blank page, right?
Exactly. So you could even do that in an art journal.
Exactly. So all these techniques work for a multitude of things. So now you can pick any stencil you'd like.
Something fun and new, maybe?
Something fun and new. They're all new. That's a bucket of new stencils, baby. And I'm just going to place my stencil down onto the jelly plate. Then I'm going to take a sheet of sticky back canvas, and I've just cut this down. So it was a sheet of 12 by 12, and I just cut it into 4 pieces. And I'm simply going to, by the way, that is one of my favorite stencils. It's the Aboriginal. I love it. So I'm going to place the sticky back canvas face down, and then simply with my hand, I'm going to put some light pressure, okay? And I can rub if I really want to. And what that's going to do is that's going to put the first layer onto my canvas. But this is like a julienning machine or one of those infomercial things, but wait, there's more. So now I'm going to take a clean sheet of jelly paper.
Here's mine.
Turned out beautiful, and I love the 2-tone print. I'm going to take the stencil off the jelly plate, and the part that was touching the jelly plate, I'm now going to place onto the jelly paper. Let me give you another sheet of jelly paper. There you go. And I'm going to take my brayer, and I'm going to roll right over that, and voila, I have another print. But wait, there's more. Now I'm going to take the same jelly paper, and I'm going to turn it over onto the plate, and I'm going to be able to, just by pressing, get another print that has the stencil design in it. That one's a little more faint because I use too much paint. But then I can even get a 4th print if I flip it over again. How did yours turn out? Nice. And you can just keep printing and printing and printing until all the paint is gone, and then suddenly your deli paper becomes this wonderful collage fodder for your art journal. I use this all the time on scrapbook pages as scrapbook backgrounds. You can cut it into embellishments, all sorts of stuff. Really
now,
easy.
where do you get these jelly things?
The jelly plates, you can get them online.
Okay.
Yeah, they're from a company called Jelly Arts. But again, you can use regular gelatin, you can use a plain piece of sheet protector or anything. Now you get to pick more stencils. I know. Picking stencils is the best part, isn't it?
And as we know, Julie does not clean her stencils.
No, I'm
We're
a dirty
only
girl.
clean because we're
Do not
here.
clean your stencils.
They're only clear because we are clean because we are here early in the
It's true.
show.
You're getting the virgin stencils.
Now, do you suggest like a bigger print or?
What I'm going to say is we're going to layer like 5 or 6 stencils all together.
Okay.
And my personal layering preferences, I tend to start with kind of the bigger, more open stencils and work down to the more delicate.
Okay.
But again, there's no rules with stenciling. It's really what feels good to you. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna just pull out a few.
Pull out a few that you like and play with them. And I will just remind you that my stenciling method that I think is really important to get good results, it's the Karate Kid thing. Remember the wax on, wax off? So you're gonna make sure in your paint with your cosmetic sponge, you're gonna dab on, dab off, because you want as little paint on this sponge as possible. That's what's gonna get nice, clean results when you pounce up and down with your sponge. If you have too much paint, I'm dabbing on, I'm dabbing off, then it's gonna get all gooky and messy, and you're gonna get that run under when you wonder, this stencil's broken. Why don't I get a nice result, right? And you can see when we start to layer the images, how cool it looks. Now this is gonna curl a little bit as you go because of the moisture that we're adding to the side, but don't sweat it at all. And you're just gonna layer up lots of different colors. If you wanna change your sponge, all I do, because I'm thrifty, is I simply cut off the end of the sponge, and that makes it really easy for me to have. Now I can go right into the yellow, and it's like I've got a new sponge. And I again use the dab on, dab off method. So I'm just gonna layer these up. And we're using acrylic paint, but you know this, Christine, because you're a stenciling expert. You could absolutely use spray ink. You could use distress ink. You could, I mean, virtually, I always say to people, you know that moment in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when the dad says, like, tell me the root of any word, tell me any word and I can tell you how the root of it is Greek. I always say, give me any medium and I will show you how I can use it with stencils.
Exactly.
So, anything you have. If you want a sponge,
I need a sponge, I think.
there you go. And people often ask if I use like specific cosmetic sponges, and the answer is whatever is cheap at the store is what I use. And you can actually use natural sea sponges too. They leave a nice sort of texture behind when you use them. I don't know, when you stencil, how many stencils do you like to use in a project? Do you like to use one or two, or do you tend to layer a ton of them?
In the past, I've done only a couple, but my goal for the future is to use more.
You know, I'm a maximalist, so I'm always going to say, the more, the better. I always like that kind of stuff. And
But
you know,
I would add stamping with stencil too.
yes. Well, that is one of the nice things is I think stenciling can provide a base or a finish or, you know, whatever you need. And you don't have to worry about neatness or anything like that. You're just having a good time, going around, playing around, lots of fun new designs. I am partial to some of these numbers. And I find that a little bit of black really helps to pop everything, but I tend to add it as kind of a last layer. I know I said that as I'm adding black and it's not a last layer, but rules were meant to be broken, right?
Of course.
So it's really just playing around. You want to just cover your sheet. Oh. And actually, Mark gave me a good idea, because a little bit of hand painting with the stenciling, really, because it's the nice clean design of the stenciling with a little bit of your own messy hand, I feel like really that combination works out. So you can just color this up. And the sticky back canvas takes a beating. You can do some splats. My favorite thing to do, you can do some circles. And just mix in your hand with the nice controlled lines of the stencils. And then I like to use some of these Lumiere, she said, knowing that, there you go. It was hard to open. I like to use some of the Lumiere paints because they have that nice mica powder in them. Mm-hmm. So they're all pretty and shiny. And if you use water with them, they spread beautifully, and that mica powder just gets everywhere.
Can I use a
Really
few of
easy.
your paints over there?
Absolutely. Sharing is caring. There you go.
Oh, I put mine on top of my jelly.
You can't really hurt your jelly plate. But it's pretty fast how you just end up covering your surface with lots of color. I think I recall you are a purple and blue kind of girl. I think the last time I did something with you, you did purple and blue.
Did I?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of pink in there.
Are they becoming signature colors for you?
I don't know. I like to believe I'm fair to all colors.
Well, I think that there are some people who just
But
have
I-
signature colors.
I don't do much in earth tones.
I don't
You want-
either.
I don't
I'm not
do a lot
fair
of
to the
browns
earth tones.
and stuff.
So for this necklace project, I think that a little bit, if you can see this, I have a lot of contrast, right? I have hard black, the blue, and the red really contrast. And I think for the necklace, because the pieces we're gonna cut are so small, that a lot of high contrast really helps to make it look more interesting, you know? So I might recommend that you pick a color that's going to contrast with all that lovely coordinating purple and blue. I like that stencil a lot. And I didn't even design it, but I have to say, Jamie's kind of brilliant.
I love any of these small textures.
Me too.
I think
Me
they're
too.
perfect.
So I'm just drying this up with a heat gun now. You can keep going if you'd like.
I think
You think you're done? You think you're good?
I got that black in there.
Rock
and
it.
The color and the layers. I used 5 different new stencils.
Okay, so once it's dry, then we're going to cut our pieces. Yes, there's pecans in every basket. Whoop. Is that cord gonna be long enough for you to reach? Maybe, we're tangled up. There you go. Okay, so one of the, it's okay, the bucket's being attacked. One of the templates that we came out with, and I have one for you and one for me. Maybe I do. I know I do. Somewhere. Here we go. It has these very basic shapes, and I know that people are not like, this is not a sexy stencil, right? You're kind of like blurred, you know, very basic, but it's really useful. So we're actually going to be using the smaller of these openings, and all I'm going to do is, there's paper on the back of the sticky back canvas. So I'm going to flip it over, and then just using a Sharpie marker, there are a couple in here, or any marker really. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a Sharpie. I'm going to trace 6, or more if you want more than 6, but we just, if you want, for every pendant you need 2 pieces. So there's some Sharpies in here if you want, and there's a template for you. And you don't have to, you know, think about it too much. I'm just tracing this easy shape. I do try to maximize how I lay it out on my canvas because I don't want to waste any of that pretty canvas that I just spent so much time making. But I'm going to trace out some 6 shapes. And, uh-oh, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought I was close to 6. And I'm going to have my 6th shape. Then I'm going to grab my scissors, and these are some nice Westcott scissors that do a good job cutting through the canvas. I will say that if you have some ratty old scissors, you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting through the canvas just because any sort of fabric is not as easy to cut as paper, and paper does dull scissors over time. So you want to use a nice pair of sharp scissors. So I'm just cutting, and if it's not exact, there's no harm. And you can see there's the first part of my pendant. And then I'm just gonna keep cutting. Here we go. Cutting, cutting, cutting. And you know, I suppose somebody said you couldn't you just like line these up and whack them out all at once, and you could. But isn't it just the zen of cutting?
No.
No, you don't think there's a
I'm
zen
lining
of
them up
cutting?
and cutting them all out at once.
It's not that bad. I call this sort of like that TV crafting where you're sort of only half paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It goes pretty fast. One of the secrets to cutting fast, I find, is never close your scissors. Ever, ever, ever. And always keep everything right in the center area of the scissors. And make sure that, you'll notice that I turn the paper or the sticky back canvas into the scissors, and I never actually turn the scissors, because that, A, it ergonomically helps your hand, and B, it just makes it faster and you do a better job cutting. So, really easy. I recall actually, Christine, that you're not a great lover of the fussy bits.
No, you like to cut everything with your X-Acto knife, and
I know.
Would drive me crazy.
Do you have a silhouette?
No, I'm not a digital cutter. I like die cutting.
I love die. Oh, did you see that we have die cuts?
No, I didn't see that you have die cuts.
Ah, it's a tiny little offering now, and we were going to see how it goes and then potentially offer a lot more, but you have to take a peek. We don't have die cuts, we have dies.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exciting because I am a die fan.
I'm a big die fan too. I think, I had an electronic cutter years ago when they were very first popular, and the problem that I always found was it took me so long to set everything up,
Yeah, exactly. Because I had them all.
Yeah.
And I never used them. It would be like, today I'm going to do digital. And then the machine would get overheated and stop.
Well, it's like everything. I always messed up. The paper got wrinkled and cut, whereas when you have a regular crank die cutter, it's like...
Yeah, and you can take a little
boom,
strap
done.
and just do it.
So these are pre-made. We just bought them this way. You can get them like on the internet anywhere. They're just a pre-made necklace string. This is a little leather cord. And what I'm going to do is starting right in the middle. Mm-hmm. And look how quickly you cut that out. See, after all that, you were a speed demon.
I am a quick cutter. So I guess we can look at them and see.
You can look. Oh, wait. Are you going to actually do some planning? Because I just go whatevs. and
But
put
these
it all
four are so
together.
similar.
It's true. So you
So
can
I might
decide,
do,
maybe
like-
you want your
Oh,
necklace.
I like this one though with the little.
That could be your centerpiece.
Yes. Okay.
So whatever you want to be the front center has to go down, face down,
Okay.
sticky back up, okay, right in the center of the necklace. And I put it, what is this, a 1/4 of an inch down maybe in the center?
Yep.
Okay? Because what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna take my next piece. I'm not a planner. And if I can get the backing off here, there you go. When I put this next piece back to back, one of the little tricks that makes this look really nice is this is a dimensional cord, obviously. So what I'm gonna do is with my fingernails is I create like a channel. Does that make sense? Like I press into the creases. And that just, it makes it so that the back has the cord showing, but you can see from the front, you really don't see much of the cord. I did, however, do a terrible job cutting after all that talk about cutting. So that's easy enough to fix. Just don't cut your cord, but I'm just gonna trim where I see the excess sticky back with a smaller tipped pair of scissors. There you go. Easy enough. Okay, and then I'm just gonna continue the same process with the other ones, and I'm not even gonna look at what they look like because I like to live dangerously by the seat of my pants. Now in terms of spacing between them, you can do 6 inches between them, you can do a 1/4 inch. I like to have them relatively close. I think it looks a little bit better, but it's all personal preference. You're the only one who has to wear your necklace unless you're gonna give it to someone as a gift. And look, by the way, how that Lumiere paint, the gold sparkly,
Oh right, I didn't put that on mine.
it's never too late. Even when it's on the necklace, you can keep adding, stenciling, paint, whatever you want. So you can totally add some gold in. And the canvas is nice and flexible too, which is another nice thing about it. Now, if you didn't have sticky back canvas, you could use regular canvas and then some fabric adhesive like fabric tack or something. It doesn't have to be sticky back. I'm always a big fan of using what you already have in your stash and not buying anything new. Unless, of course, it's Crafters Workshop stencils, which in case
And
you need to
dyes.
buy all the new ones. But yes. And another terrible cutting job. I was so busy talking, and now I need to trim. There we go. Looking good. How's yours coming along?
Pretty good. I haven't mastered the flat front part, but but I'm okay with that.
Good.
Gonna trim a little.
Okay, my necklace is done. I'm ready to put it on. Maybe if I can clasp it. This is like an IQ test that I'm failing. I really am failing this IQ test.
You know, I think I put mine on
There we
the opposite
go.
way that you would normally.
Let's try it the other way.
There, I got mine.
Much faster than me.
Fancy. You can do it at home too.
It looks awesome. Well, thank you for coming by.
Thanks. Now I have jewelry to wear all
do.
for the show.